What's up guys, you already know by now, it's the sinister Scotsman, the beast from the east, Jason from Unicyclist here. And this is my tutorial on how to unispin. It's a base trick in unicycling. When I first started it was one hell of a trick, but now it's something you're going to learn straight off the top. So this will hopefully give you a few pointers. Most tutorials will just show you break tricks down and how to do them. Hopefully this tutorial will show you some effective ways to actually how to learn the tricks. So let's get started. Okay, so the tutorial is going to focus mainly on the 180 unispin and the 360 unispin. We're going to break it down further into two movements, basically the spin itself and the jump. The jump primarily is not necessarily how high you're jumping, but making sure you're jumping in the right way and in the right direction, and with the spin making sure that your hands are in the correct place, making the landing as easy as possible for you. So here are a few exercises or tricks which are useful to know before you get started. And the first one is obviously seat out hopping. You have to be very confident in your seat out hopping and very good at it to get a unispin anyway. The next one is the jump mount, so basically holding the unicycle in front of you and jumping onto the pedals like so. The next, the obvious progression, is the 180 jump mount, so exactly the same as the jump mount, except you spin the unicycle 180 degrees as you would on a 180 unispin, so it's exactly the same really. I'm sure you can guess what's coming next, the 360. And then the 360 jump mount is a little bit harder than the 180, so keep at it, it's definitely useful to learn. So once you've got those tricks down solidly, the next thing you want to do is get on the unicycle and practice what's called aerials. Aerials are essentially just no-footers. You're practicing the jumping part of the unispin, so hold the seat as you would, as if you were going to spin it, and just jump straight in the air as high as you possibly can, aiming for the cranks, if not pedals. Once you've got this, you should be good with it. The next stage, once you've mastered that, is to essentially do a unispin now, except what you're going to do is you're going to find something to help you do it, preferably a fence, something you can put a lot of your weight on. So you're just going to do the movement of the unispin, spin it 180, jump in the air, but use the fence to help you jump up. That will essentially give you an extra few seconds to land on the cranks or the pedals. This skill becomes a lot more difficult when you try to do it with the 360 spin. But to be quite frank, it's not all that important. It's kind of more practicing one-handed 360s, which is something you can progress to later on. Now the next step is the unispin foot plant, which, like it says, is just like doing the unispin but putting your foot on something maybe a little bit smaller than this wall. Just like using the fence, it's designed to give you a little bit of extra time, so you can spot the cranks or the pedals earlier, and also it allows you to spin the seat a little bit slower. You can do this with the 180 and the 360. Make sure you get it consistent. You can either do it stationary or you can do it rolling, like here. Quite honestly, it's probably easier to do it static. But if you want to make it a little bit harder, rolling will ensure that you've learned it solidly. So once you've got that perfectly, we're going to move on to the real thing, and the first part is the spin. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your hands in the right position. And as you can see here, I'm using my dominant hand right in the middle, and I can pretty much spin it around with one hand. The second hand is kind of just used to position it, and it's placed at the back. So as you can see, the whole spin is done with my hand in the middle. Place your hand in the middle, it'll keep it steady and it'll keep it right in the center, so it's a lot easier to land. As a few of you might have seen, I've been landing my 360 seat in, and the way to catch them is by the handle. So you're going to place your hand right in the middle, make sure it's central because that will spin. The other hand right at the back for control, spin it round and catch it again at the back. Again, and spin it round in the middle and catch it at the front if you're going to land it seat in. So for all of you who've been keeping up, the second part is obviously the jump. And if you have to, go back to your aerials, i.e. your no-footers. What I'll do is that I'll help you focus on how to land and how to jump. The idea is to look straight down the tyre. As you can see, I keep the handle quite close to my body. The idea of that is that the closer it is when I take off, the closer it will be when I land. As a few of you may have noticed, when I do my 360s, as I've mentioned already, I keep it really close to my body because I land seat in, and I find this easier. It might not be easier at first, but it does get a lot easier. So as you can see, make sure you're holding it correctly, like we saw in the last bit. Jump as close to, with the handle as close to you as possible, and look straight down the tyre. It's exactly the same for the 360s, but don't try these until you've absolutely nailed the 180s. So as I said before, keeping the seat as close to you as possible, and if you land it in seat in, it's generally easier. It is, in my opinion anyway. So look straight down the tyre, jump up, and aim for the cranks. Keep your eyes on the cranks and pedals at all times. So I'll slow it down for you just to recap all of the points. This is a 360, but the same things apply for the 180. Make sure your hand position's right, so you put one of your hands right in the middle, so it's easier to spin, the other at the back to hold it. Look straight down the tyre, jump as high as you can, and aim for the pedals. A lot of people will say fan your legs out, kind of like split them. I don't agree with that. I say suck them up, almost like you're bending your knees. I find it a lot easier to get back to the cranks or pedals that way. So again, spin it with your hand right in the middle. As you can see, that was a seat out spin as well. So hands right in the middle, the other hand at the back for guidance and also to catch it. Jump as high as you can and aim for the pedals and the cranks. As I said before, always keep your eyes on where you're landing. Where you're looking is where you're going. And once you've dialed the trick, you can take it off anything. You can take it off drops, you can take it up curbs, you can even incorporate it into trials lanes. I've been Jason Auld. I hope this tutorial has been helpful. If you need any more tips or you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to add us on Facebook, just search Voodoo Unicycles. Don't forget to check out the website, www.voodoounicycles.com. From there you can buy one of our very special t-shirts. Limited stock obviously, so get in there quickly. Again, I've been Jason Auld, and don't forget, it's Paul Tasker's world, we just live in it.